everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's book review is Midnight Crossroad by Charlaine Harris. I think I'm saying her name correct. I've heard it a few times. I'm gonna go with Charlaine. If not, this is nothing new. I discovered this book series, a trilogy. This is the first book in the series by the NBC show, but I haven't watched it. But I saw that it was the writer from Sookie Stackhouse series, or like, you know, that introduction as a commercial. Didn't get into it because I just don't watch TV like that. I'm like a Netflix person. Binge it. So I know it existed, and I knew the book existed because they mentioned it in the commercial. Yeah, makes sense. But I grabbed it because it was on sale for, I don't know, $5.99 in December of 2021, and I used my Amazon gift cards for it. I was like, that's a great deal. I have Amazon gift cards. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try it out. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I would say it's like kind of low 4 stars. I am, though, just saying, going to buy the other 2 books when I have the money. I don't have the money right now, but it will happen eventually. And I'll review I forget if it's day shift or night shift first. Like, I thought it was interesting that the first book is Midnight Crossroads, and then it's either the second or third book is day shift, night shift. I can't figure out which one it is because it's like, I don't understand yet the meaning behind the second and third book's title. So I can't like pinpoint as to why. So we follow a psychic, a witch, I'm thinking like spy or like assassin, mortal, immortal, I'm not sure 100% on that, a vampire, and then possibly a werewolf, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That might be in the like second and third book, but I think I'm getting a feeling there's some werewolves in Midnight, right? But there's also just normal people, like human beings, but they've run away from their very bad past or very bad family. We come across the psychic first, and his name's Manfred. Manfred. I mean, I guess that works. Psychic name Manfred. But he decides to move to Nowheresville, Texas, because that's just what he wants and needs after his grandmother passes away. And I mean, his work is online, so he doesn't need to be in a big city or anything like that. And then we come across all of these cool characters, and some of them, actually I think just like one, not even some, one of them, the witch, has family ties to Midnight, but I'm pretty sure everyone else does not, unless, I mean, I think Madonna and Teacher might, I don't know, maybe that's discussed in the second or third book. But Fiji, the witch, she kind of grew up in and around Midnight. Everyone else they just happened to come into Midnight. And Bobo, who runs the Midnight pawn shop with the vampire and the possible immortal, but maybe mortal assassin spy, you know, that helps out. Bobo's girlfriend goes missing, and it turns out that she was murdered. By who, though? We don't know. And there is also a whole thing, not just with Bobo's girlfriend going missing and then they discover her murdered. One of Bobo's close relatives has nasty ties to some nasty groups. Not just in Texas, but overall, but specifically there's a local nasty group. I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, it's not good for Bobo. The things that happen to Bobo, but not just Bobo, like the other people in Midnight, they're running away from something and it catches up to them eventually. So I'm pretty sure that the second and third book is going to be about more of the other prominent people that are there, but what I didn't particularly like is first chapter is not a chapter, it's like, but it's not a prologue either, it's like an introduction to Midnight, and it's in like a weird, I guess it's third person, but it follows, so I guess it's like a godly narrator that just plops themselves into everyone's kind of head, and I don't like that. That was really weird. It wasn't the best introduction. Also, when you read the summary, it makes it out that Manfred is going to be the #1 character, and we're just following Manfred through everything happening in Midnight. It's going to be mainly from Manfred's point of view. That's what you get from the summary. But no, there's a lot of hopping around, especially with Fiji, and also with Bobo. So it's like Manfred, Fiji, and Bobo specifically. Yes, it's in third person, but the setup for the summary was just bizarre to me. So I'm going in, I'm thinking it's Manfred at like the actual first chapter, and then it switches to Fiji, and then it switches to Bobo, and then it switches back to Manfred, and I'm confused. I'm like, what am I reading? I don't know. I don't know what I'm reading. So I had to go back a little bit, like a few pages, and I'm like, okay, Manfred, Bobo, Fiji, Manfred. Okay, so we're doing this. Okay, that was not what I thought was gonna happen based on the summary. And even most of the reviews on Goodreads, I take those with a grain of salt, obviously, because they didn't mention that it really doesn't focus on Manfred, who you think is the main character, but it's like actually 3 people. Really like rhyme and reason 100%. Like I don't know what's gonna be in the second or third book and how that's gonna go about. I'm assuming it's gonna be like character hopping, but I don't know if that's necessary. So I don't know. I mean, I would have been way more bothered if it was first person and she's bopping between those 3 characters in first person. Oh my god, I would just lose my mind, and I wouldn't go for the second or third book. I think it's a little better when you're character hopping in different chapters when it's third person, because at least you get like a godly sense of when you're writing, or when she's writing, she'll tell you the character Manfred said, or Fiji went outside to look at the moon, or oh, we're in Bobo's pawn shop and he's talking to a customer, like that type of thing. Whereas you're just kind of pushed randomly into it if it's first person. I always have problems with that. I think I give a little more grace for third person character hopping, I suppose. I did like the story and the character developments, and I'm not a huge crime person. I'm getting into crime and mystery, so maybe it's more obvious who, you know, killed Audrey, but I was surprised. I was like, that's a good twist. Though I don't recall anyone saying, oh, it's so obvious who killed her, this is stupid, 2 stars. I don't remember any reviews of that. So I think it was a pretty good twist at the end. I was shocked. I was like, oh snap, here we go. That's messed up. And the person who did it, they were weird, but I didn't see the connection, because basically everyone in Midnight, Texas is weird. So I think that's a good setup. Everyone's weird, and so you can't base that weirdness on who murdered who, or who killed, you know, that person over there and buried them in a ditch, you know, whatever. You have to take out the weirdness, and you have to figure it out, you know, who killed who or who beat up who based on the evidence. And I think that's interesting, because a lot of people will just do tropes and they'll add like creepy characters and like, oh yeah, it's that character because he's creepy, you know, and it's too obvious. I didn't get from this book, at least me personally, so I think that's very refreshing. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my book review on Midnight Crossroads. Have a great reading day. Bye!